Thank you so much for staying with us on the program. We've been talking about the politics of securing Nigeria. So much have been spent, but how far have we come? That's exactly what we're reviewing tonight. And I have an economics and experts in the field of money making and business performance in Nigeria. Mr. Bismark Rewane, the CEO of Financial Derivatives, and of course the spokesperson of the President, Madam Garba Shehu, is in our Abuja studio. We told you earlier that we give you some other perspectives, informed one for that matter, and a former military personnel is on the phone to join us now. Mr. John Obakpolor joins us over the phone. Thank you so much for joining us on the telephone. So sad that you cannot be with us in the studio. But tell us, from your experience, we're back in a uniform, and what you are seeing now, when someone says that the military is underfunded and is not motivated in terms of the lack of weapons, what does this mean? All right, if I may come again with my question, Group Captain Obakpolor, tell us, from your experience when you were in uniform and at this time, when someone says that the military is not well-funded, in fact, neglected, and is not motivated enough because there is no weapon to fight, what is the implication of that statement?
Well, I would say when I heard it, I was shocked because the military is not supposed to be lacking his manner. Because over time, there has been budgets for defense. Not to say that as a result of what outside the war,
we're having some issues connecting with Group Captain John Obakpolor there. But of course, as soon as we are able to get him, we are unfortunately not able to bring him to the studio, and network is messing around, not giving us the perfect audio that we need. Let me go to Abuja studio again. Let me return to Madam Garba Shehu. Give us a sense of what is currently going to happen. The president talked about two major areas that he wants to focus on: fighting corruption and, of course, making sure that insurgency in the northeastern eastern part of the country is brought to his knees. But this time around, with what we are seeing, what do you think we might be looking at in the budget of the military?
Well, he will not send troops to the war without ensuring that they are properly equipped, they are properly taken care of. He just read a major speech at the National Defense College only on Friday, and he was committing himself to the fact that Nigerian military will be taken care of in terms of their welfare, in terms of their equipment, and in terms of the motivation that they need in order to confront, this insurgency. As I said a short while ago, we're already beginning to see the fruits of this, because Boko Haram is in disarray as we speak now. And the experts are saying that what we are witnessing, occasional bombings and suicide attacks, they characterized one thing globally, that is the dying days of an insurgency. It's just a matter of time. We will get there.
All right. If I may come in here, the president talked about producing weapons locally. That means a lot. For a country that has not been doing that for a long time, what are the things that we are supposed to be seeing in the coming days? That's going to be a restructuring of that commission that is in charge, and a lot of funding also. And when you're doing that, a lot of people have placed question on research and innovations. Do we have all of that on the ground as we talk?
I imagine that this president is not a communist, of course, This government is guided by major principles of market in particular. And I would imagine that environment will be created for there to be investment in that area, defense industries, whether in the United States, even in South Africa. Brazil, which started their own defense industry side by side with our own DIC in Kaduna, they produce military aircraft and armored tanks. You know, and the story is being told that ours is still limited to small weapons and some household things. So that is going to change. And I believe that given that oil, which is the mainstay of our economy, we've lost half of our earnings in that area so far, and the outlook is not as reassuring as it should be. Government, I believe, will take into confidence the private investor. The important thing is that this country should be able to be self-sufficient in basic weaponry and equipment without having to be subject to the embarrassing situation we just came out of, where the US and they looked at our human records and said they won't sell to you. Nobody is saying we can't justify human rights abuses, but a country has a pride of its own, and I think that we ought to be able to uphold that by being able to produce as others are doing.
All right, interesting. We understand that the president says that the door to negotiating with Boko Haram might be opened. As the negotiations started?
Not with the Nigerian government. What the president has said is that, a trusted group, they came forward and did a press conference, Center for Crisis Communications, which is a credible organization, has established contact with the Boko Haram, a faction of the Boko Haram leadership. And they have quite a number of, followers behind them in some neighboring countries, which I will not mention. They have been challenged to produce their bona fide if they can establish who they are and they are credible. Claims are that in that group there are people who have prize money placed on them by the US government. Now, if this group is influential, if they are credible, and don't forget that in the custody of the Nigerian government also, there are also leaders of the insurgent group who are being kept. So talking to those ones from outside and these ones that are here, the thing is that if the government is persuaded that there is a credible partner for negotiation, yes, President Buhari is not asked to causing this entire thing to be resolved, in a manner that is peaceful.
The country that we're partnering with, the United States, they will say for sure that they don't negotiate with terrorists. Why are we making this move as a country?
I hope that you don't misunderstand me, because the idea is not to say that we want to negotiate our way out of this situation. President Buhari has established his credential as a leader who has the will, who has the capability to lead this country to decisively defeat and eliminate terror in this country. And this is within view. Before the end of the year, this is going to be done with. However, as you know yourself, all major conflicts, as historians tell us, around the globe, somehow end up being finally resolved at the negotiation table. The government has a responsibility. Don't forget, these people are Nigerians, for the most part. And the soldiers themselves who are compelled to shoot at, they do it out of duty, not because they like that, they eliminate, their countrymen. So government has a responsibility, and in the end, there will be a social component that will be injected into that region. This is not going to be finally ended by war. No, economy, as a prof has been addressing, must be addressed. Otherwise, the whole thing will be back all over again, because the condition on the ground itself is germane. You don't have Boko Haram in Lagos because standard of life perhaps is far higher than you had in those ravaged, in those areas that have been deprived. The Lake Chad thing is almost gone. Only 10% is remaining. All of the fishing and agriculture is lost. So unemployment is devil, is evil. All of these things have added to create a situation in which recruitment is permitted by the environment itself.
All right. Tell me, Mr. Malam Shehu, tell me, are you saying that there's no sort of negotiation that has been started by the Nigerian government in any sense of it?
Not at this time. Not at this time. What the government of Nigeria is interested in is establishing the credibility of the groups that are at hand in our detention, and some of them that are offering their hand from there. When government is persuaded that they are credible enough to be talked to, government will formally inaugurate a discussion. We're not there yet.